1960s R&B was more than hit singles and chart toppers. Beneath the spotlight lived albums that shaped the soul quietly, patiently, and deeply. While radio crowned its kings and queens, these records whispered truths in bedrooms, cars, and late-night living rooms. Tonight, we're uncovering 15 underrated R&B albums from the 60s that still deserve your time. Number 15, Tell Mama by Etta James. Tell Mama by Etta James is raw power pressed into vinyl. Released in 1968 on Chess Records, this album marked a turning point in Etta's life and career.
And I'll make everything alright.
After years of turbulence, she walked into Fame Studios and Muscle Shoals and let everything spill out. The result was a record soaked in grit, pain, and defiance.
Yo, now the same dude is wearing your clothes.
The title track kicks the door open with sharp horns and relentless rhythm, while I'd Rather Go Blind slows the room to a hush, sounding like heartbreak caught mid-breath. This album did not dominate the charts when it arrived, but it aged like truth always does.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
Every song feels lived in. You can hear the room, the band, the tension. It sounds like sweat on stage lights and smoke hanging low in the air. If this was the sound of survival, the next album is the sound of ambition knocking hard on the door. Number 14, The Irresistible Force by Edwin Starr. The Irresistible Force by Edwin Starr crackles with urgency and hunger. Released in 1967 on the Rick Tick label, this album captures Edwin Starr before the world fully caught up.
What is it good for?
Long before war became a cultural explosion, Starr was already delivering fiery performances packed with conviction. Tracks like Agent 00 Soul explode with swagger.
What is it good for?
While deeper cuts reveal a vocalist pushing against every limit placed in front of him. This album did not benefit from the Motown machine yet, and maybe that is why it feels so alive. There is no polish here, only drive.
What is it good for? What?
It sounds like Detroit streets, small clubs, and ambition that refuses to wait its turn. And if that was so with its fists clenched, the next album opens the heart and lets the tears fall. Number 13, Wish Someone Would Care by Irma Thomas.
Come the lots of them, and failures.
Wish Someone Would Care by Irma Thomas is pure emotional honesty. Released in 1964 on Imperial Records, this debut album introduced a voice that carried both strength and vulnerability.
Some folks think you're happy.
Irma Thomas sang heartbreak without theatrics. The title track aches with loneliness, while her version of Time Is On My Side proves how deeply she understood restraint and timing. This album did not chase trends. It sat still and spoke softly, trusting listeners to lean in. You can almost picture a quiet room, curtains drawn, a record spinning while rain taps the window. It is intimate soul, meant to be felt more than heard. If Irma whispered her pain, the next artist raises his voice in joyful testimony. Number 12, Testifying by R.B. Greaves. Testifying by R.B. Greaves blends warmth, rhythm, and storytelling. Released in 1969 on Atco Records, this album introduced a singer whose voice carried both polish and personality.
A good secretary to me,
And it's times like this I feel.
Take a Letter Maria became a hit, but the album around it offered far more depth. Greaves moved effortlessly between soul, pop, and gospel tones, delivering stories that felt personal and universal at once.
Oh, take a letter, Maria, oh, address it to my wife.
His voice feels conversational, like a friend recounting life lessons over late-night coffee. The arrangements are bright but never overpowering. This album did not fit neatly into one category.
Find more pleasure in the arms of another man.
Which may be why it slipped through the cracks. And if this one felt like a friendly confession, the next entry brings us into the engine room of Southern Soul. Number 11, Every Little Bit Hurts by Brenda Holloway.
You say you're coming home, yet you never phone, leave me all alone.
Every Little Bit Hurts by Brenda Holloway is fragile, honest Motown soul. Released in 1964, this debut showcased a voice that trembled with sincerity.
I can't go on giving my life away.
The title track feels like a heartbreaking in real time, each note stretching just a little longer than expected. Brenda Holloway sang softly, but her emotions landed hard.
Come back to me, darling, you'll see.
While Motown was building stars with bold hooks and bright harmonies, this album took a quieter path. It did not receive the push others did, yet it remains one of the label's most emotionally rich releases.
Give you all the things that you wanted before.
Listening now feels like discovering a secret that was never meant to be shouted. And from heartbreak, we move toward an album rooted in faith, struggle, and resilience. Number 10, Everything is Everything by Donny Hathaway. Everything is Everything by Donny Hathaway lays the foundation for a legend. Released in 1969, this album introduced a voice that carried gospel weight and classical discipline. Donny Hathaway did not rush a phrase or oversell emotion. He let songs breathe. Tracks like The Ghetto feel grounded and observant, capturing real life without judgment.
Everything's everything. Yes, it is.
At the time, this album quietly arrived while louder voices competed for attention. But Hathaway's strength was patience. His phrasing pulls you in slowly, making you listen closer with every line. It feels spiritual without preaching, powerful without shouting. If this album took us to church, the next one drags us straight onto the stage with fire and fury. Number 9, The Soul of Ike and Tina Turner by Ike and Tina Turner.
I broke your heart and I made you cry, but I didn't mean it, sweet.
The Soul of Ike and Tina Turner is raw, raw, explosive early soul.
But people in love should always try what we need is somebody.
Released in 1961, this album introduced Tina Turner's unstoppable voice. Long before stadium shows and crossover hits, this record captured pure electricity. Tina's vocals tear through every track, while Ike's arrangements keep the band locked tight. It is not polished. It is not restrained. It feels dangerous in the best way. This album sounds like a packed room, bodies moving, heat rising. It did not dominate charts, but it left a permanent mark. And from that intensity, we shift into something smoother and deeply influential. Number 8, Soul Dressing by Booker T and the MG's Soul Dressing. By Booker T and the MGs proves words are optional. Released in 1965 on Stax Records, this instrumental album became the heartbeat of Southern soul. These musicians backed countless legends, yet this record stands on its own. Every groove feels intentional, every pause meaningful. It sounds like Memphis captured at sunset. Warm organ lines, steady drums, and guitar riffs that speak without speaking. While it never grabbed mainstream attention, it shaped the sound of R&B behind the scenes for years. And if this album was the foundation, the next one carries the message. Number 7, This Is My Country by The Impressions.
Have the right to say it's my country.
This Is My Country by The Impressions blends beauty and purpose. Released in 1968, this album arrived during social upheaval.
Of slave driving sweat and welts on my back.
Yet, it chose grace over rage. Curtis Mayfield's songwriting offered pride, reflection, and quiet strength.
Too many have died in protecting my pride.
The title track stands as a declaration of belonging and hope. The harmonies float gently, but the message lands firmly.
Perish unjust or live equal as a nation.
This album did not shout its importance. It trusted its listeners to understand. It remains one of the most thoughtful soul records of its time. And from reflection, we move to bold confidence and funk-driven fire. Number 6, Soul Sister by Tina Britt. Soul Sister by Tina Britt is fearless and fun. Released in 1969, this album bursts with personality. Tina Britt sang with attitude, confidence, and joy. The grooves are heavy, the vocals unapologetic. It feels like late-night dancing and laughter spilling into the street. The album suffered from limited promotion, but its spirit never faded. Today, it sounds fresh, vibrant, and alive. If these records are bringing back memories, tap that like button. It helps keep this soul muscle alive and stay with us. 5 more hidden classics are still waiting. Number 5, The Exciting Wilson Pickett by Wilson Pickett. The Exciting Wilson Pickett is relentless energy. Released in 1966, this album captures Wilson Pickett at full throttle. Need somebody to help me sing. His voice punches through every track with urgency and grit. Backed by tight musicianship, the songs feel immediate and physical. This album did not need subtlety. It needed movement, and it delivered. Pickett's influence echoes through decades of soul and rock that followed. And from fire, we slow down into something deeper and heavier. Number 4, Deep Are the Roots by Solomon Burke.
Leaves you all alone.
Deep Are the Roots by Solomon Burke feels timeless. Released in the early 60s, this album showcases a voice that blends gospel authority with street wisdom.
Don't you feel like a crying?
Burke sang with compassion and strength, making every lyric feel earned. It did not chase hits, it chased truth. And that truth still resonates. And now, we rise toward elegance and showmanship. Number 3, The Dynamic Jackie Wilson by Jackie Wilson.
Someone to care, someone to share.
The dynamic Jackie Wilson bridges eras beautifully. Released in 1960, this album shows a performer refining his craft. Jackie Wilson's control, range, and charisma shine throughout. He could lift a song gently or command it completely.
Just say you will, say you will.
This album connects early R&B to what soul would become. And now, we step into a quiet masterpiece. Number 2, Here's a Heart by the Artistics.
I think it's so unfair.
Here's a Heart by the Artistics is soft, romantic soul. Released in 1966, this album feels intimate and patient. Harmonies glide, melodies linger. It is perfect for late nights and long drives. Collectors rediscovered it years later.
And now you're back, and you're trying to recover.
But its beauty was always there, and nothing prepares you for what stands at number 1. Number 1, Get It While You Can by Howard Tate.
In this world where people
Get It While You Can by Howard Tate is soul perfection. Released in 1967, this album captures vulnerability, strength, and control.
turn you back on the road, I want to tell you a little bit about myself.
Tate's voice cuts deep without ever forcing emotion. Every song feels personal. It did not dominate radio, but it dominates hearts. This is soul at its purest. These albums remind us that soul lives beyond the spotlight. Thanks for taking this journey with us. Subscribe to keep the groove alive. Click the end screen to continue with our next deep dive into 15 flop R&B songs from the 80s that unexpectedly turned into smash hits and let the music carry you forward.